Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show for September 28th, 2021. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Tonight's special guest is Greg Swiech. He comes to us all the way from Irwin, Pennsylvania. He's also known as Santa Kringle at Santa Kringle LLC. So please stay with us. We will be right back right after these messages. Welcome back, everyone. It's great to be with you tonight. As always, I'm Santa Bob, and this is Santa Barry.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be with you tonight. Hope everybody's having a great week, and we're 1 week closer to everybody's season starting.
That's correct. And I couldn't do this without you, my illustrious co-host, and of course our producer, Angela. She's behind the scenes working the technical end for us tonight, as always. So, hello, guys. We are ready for another over-the-top guest and interview. I got to tell everyone, if you've ever wondered how the OBS green screen technology works and how to get involved, and if you're interested in using it, tonight's show will be for you. Before we get started, though, and I know we ask this week in and week out, but it's really, really important to us that we need your help. We really do need your help. So, Barry, over to you.
All right, everyone. First, reach over there, give us a like and a share to help build this stream and the viewership for the show tonight. We know you have a choice with your time, and we appreciate you being with us. Now, time for some Tuesday Night Live trivia. All right, our trivia tonight. Pennsylvania has a history that is steeped with a large German settlement, and those traditions are still seen in today's culture. Central European countries, the traditional bringer of gifts each year is known as who? In the Central European countries, the traditional bringer of gifts each year is known as who? We're looking for 2 words. Good luck, everybody.
That's right. This is something, by the way, Barry, that we teach in the Sat Bob's classes. This is part of our curriculum, and every once in a while we like to reach over there in those books and grab something out of there and bring to the public.
All right, ready for those guesses.
And this is something that you can use in your portrayal. Children, a lot of children like to ask about different cultures and different questions about Christmas time. So this is a good one that you can put in your hat.
Yep, the Central European countries, the traditional bringer of Christmas gifts each year is known as who?
Yes, and this is it's kind of near and dear to so many of our hearts. This is what we do. We're gift givers. Santa Claus is the bringer of all good things. And this is just a tradition that has, of course, we are a smeltering pot, as I mentioned before. So we have blended cultures.
Good guess. It's not Father Christmas, and I'll give you another clue. It's not. There you go, Santa Melissa Christ kind.
Melissa got it again. Very good, Santa Melissa. Good job. Christ kind, or the child of Christ, is the correct answer on that. And again, put that in your hat, and use that during your portrayal, either during story time or if you're sitting in a mall or a chair. That question will come up. I've had that question asked before.
And Christkind is also the name where we get Kris Kringle.
That's correct.
So that developed in the American there. All right, please welcome tonight's guest to the Tuesday Night Live show, and in our opinion, one of the industry leaders in virtual OBS and green screen technology from Erwin, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Greg Swiech.
Hello, Greg.
Hello. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, you know what? The studio looks fabulous, man. We are so excited about tonight, and we're just going to learn so much. I know we all are. So let's get started.
All right.
So it's great to finally have you on the show. You were at the top of our list at the beginning of the season. Of course, we had a long list of folks we was trying to work in that we knew was going to be pertinent to the Santa community and share great information. So, we here at Tuesday Night Live, we kind of always start off our show with the same question. And, of course, why break tradition? How did you come about putting the red suit on for the first time? And when was that? And for who? And what was that first experience like for you, Greg?
Well, Bob, it really happened in 1985. My family has this tradition that on Christmas Eve, we would all gather together. And there were 5 brothers and, of course, their wives. And we had a lot of children. And, of course, Mom and Dad was there. We would have a meal. And after that meal, we would break what we call the Christmas wafer. And we wish each other good wishes for the upcoming year. Well, when this was all done, my dad would appear as Santa. And I took over for portraying Santa in 1990. So 1990 was the year that I put on the red suit. I took over for my dad. He was getting up there in age. And I was great appearing with a bag full of gifts for everybody in the room. This was not just special for me, being Santa and being a gift giver, but it was also very special for the tradition in my family.
Very good, Barry.
Well, when the virus hit America, it changed the way we all had to approach Christmas as performers. And I know in 2019, you made the choice to go to 100% virtual. Tell us what was the driving force behind that decision, and what demographics was you looking at to serve, and why?
Well, you're right. It was the 2019. And knowing that I was not getting any younger and I had those normal senior citizens aches and pains, I figured I needed to concentrate on where to grow my business. Now at 15 from now, keeping in mind, I also want to grow when I'm 15 years from now. So I'm not getting any younger. So since working with a small group of children in a family setting was something that I truly enjoyed. And the demographics that I normally appeared for those home visits were between 25 years old to 45 years old parents with children, sometimes 1, 2, or 3 or 4 children. So these customers had a smartphone in their back pockets, and they used it for their booking rides like, Uber, Lyft, ordering food for dinner or lunch using Yelp or different other ways of getting food, and now even doing our groceries, purchasing their household goods and other things, all on the internet. So it made absolute sense to me that they could utilize my services in a very convenient, easy to do business with design, as long as I can design and build something that works for them to serve up those conveniences that they were looking for. So that's what I did.
Very good. Well, you have set the bar really high with the use of technology since you started going all virtual. But you just mentioned that you incorporated your smartphone into the mix. Can you tell us how you use your cell phone within your business and how it allows you to reach a larger audience with the technology? And even you just mentioned setting up Zoom calls automatically. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's what I had to rethink everything I was doing on my website. And I showed it to my elderly adult children. One's 40, one's 38. And they kind of looked at it in the eyes of their friends who have a lot of have children, and they looked at it that way, and they told me, I needed to redesign my website, making sure it was scaled perfectly for the phone and not just for laptops and desktops. Also give them the ability to see what I offer. Look for an open date, time that's convenient for them, book it, pay for it, fill out a personalized form so the time spent with me, Santa, can be magical, and get a Zoom invite sent directly to them, all without picking up a traditional phone or texting me. So I needed also to be able to deliver the visit with me through a recording, basically 15 minutes at max after the end of the visit. So they are used to getting things right now, not 48 hours, 72 hours later, right away. So that's what I needed to do.
Yes, technology is a wonderful thing, especially when you have that instant connection and, like you said, without waiting.
Well, Greg, let's talk about your virtual studio. Tell us about the technology you use, especially that you switch scenes and how the hotkey and the Stream Deck works.
Yeah, the Stream Deck is my Angela, my producer, and I'm a one-man show. So I needed something to automate that and make sure it worked for me. Now, you can take a simple keyboard and through OBS, you can program hotkeys, but you eventually run out of keys, believe it or not, trying to make all those different keys work for you. So the Elgato came to me through a couple other people that I seen were using it. And again, I thought this is the way to do that. So here, the best way to do is maybe give you some visuals of this. So let me just pop on over here and give you an idea what, now I'm actually using the Elgato right now and basically moving from buttons to buttons. But anyway, I'm gonna give you behind the scenes. So I set up another camera on a tripod here. And so you can see the chroma key screen behind me. And you can see I also got a little stage outfit here. But the most important tool that we've been talking about is this little machine called the Elgato Stream Deck. It comes in a flavor you can use it on your phone. I tried that at first, but it was problematic. And one thing, you don't want any kind of issues while you're actually doing this. And so I moved, there's a 15 button, and I went with the 32 max. And there's so many ways you can program these, and screen after screen after screen. And it really makes easy to be able to go from here back to my office, back over to the behind the scenes, and be able to just move around and do all these things very easily. And I don't have to worry about pulling my mouse over, using my keyboard, just a simple button. And most of these buttons I do, let me just go back to the office. You can see my hand moving up here. And as I'm moving things here, turning off, and maybe I'm putting up a logo because I might do a corporate event and I want to put up their logo. In that case, that's mine. Or I want to be able to just activate other things very simply. So that's just what you can do right there with a simple push of a button. So I'll just give you a little bit of walk around my studio so you can get an idea. So you got right here is one monitor. I use two monitors. You don't really need to, but I use them because sometimes when I'm working some of my scenes and I want to do something else, we call it multitasking. Angela's probably fabulous at that. But anyway, for me, I had to make sure I have the tools to make that work for me. So I also got my Rode mic here. I use a podcaster. It doesn't really matter what brand. I just wanted something that I can count on. I got my phone, which is the camera. I started using iPhones as a camera. I'm going to move away from the Brio. I'm using the Brio just now for the behind the scenes, but I'm using two iPhones for all of my sessions with the children. And then I also have here the Elgato right here, one. I got one more over there as I stand up, because I stand up and move around in my studio. I take them on a tour of the North Pole. And to do that, I had to put up enough lights to give the right background lighting so I wouldn't have any ghosting on my sleeves or around my hair, and I can actually move around. And that took a little bit of work to do, but I have 2 lights here, I got 2 lights over here, and 2 lights over here, and I got 1 key light that you see by the fan up behind me. Lighting is crucial for properly lighting of the chroma key. These 2 lights light me, and the rest of the lights light the background, except for the key light. It lights the back of me when I'm standing up. So that's very crucial. And then the OBS allows me to have all these scenes programmed in it so I can jump around. But instead of using my mouse and moving over and looking where I left off and click, I can just very easily click right here and go right here. And if I say, oh, you guys want to go on a tour of the North Pole? Well, let's go. So I will get up, grab my staff, and then I will actually take them on a tour of the North Pole. Oh, welcome to the Hall of Letters. Yes, this is where all your letters go. Yeah. Oh, all these files are full with your letters. This is it. This place is huge. You probably wondered where your letters went. This is where they all go. Oh, let me show you how big this place is. Look at the size of this place. It's unbelievable. It's just so big. Look at this place. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And this is where all your letters go in all these drawers. So that's a little bit of what I can do as I walk around and go through these scenes and be able to talk to the children and give them a little bit of the view of the North Pole. Now, you might recognize the Hall of Letters from Kurt Russell's movie, Christmas Chronicle 1. He, Katie went through the magical Christmas bag and ended up down the conveyor belt of the presents into Santa's Hall of Letters. And so I feel I want to take a little bit of those ideas and use them because the children see those movies and they can relate to what maybe the North Pole looks like through the Hall of Letters. And then I also can take them actually into, you want to see the reindeer? Well, let's go. Let's go and see the reindeer. Oh, you guys know these. You know the reindeer. Here they are. Look at them. Vixen, why are you sleeping? We got Barry here. We got Bob. We got a whole bunch of guests to come to see you, and you're sleeping. I can't believe that. Anyway, that's them. Oh, you want to see that special reindeer? Oh, I know who. Let me show you him. Let's go over there. Oh, is this the guy you're looking for? Oh, he's special. Is it because he's gray? Is that what makes him so special? Or what? What could it be? I don't know, but I tell you one thing. He loves it when I just give him a little rubber. Oh, look at his eyes. He closed. Oh, that's what makes him special. You know him as Rudolph. So there's one of my reindeer. And so then I can actually go from here and bring up all the reindeers for a snapshot of all the reindeers with the children, and they can see them all. So here they all are. There's all my buddies. Without them, I can never get around to all your homes. So that's just a little bit of what I do there and be able to take them on a tour. So I just wanted to kind of pop back and give you where that's at. So I go on a whole tour of the North Pole. So
That's pretty amazing, Greg. And you said the camera you're using there for the main one is coming off an iPhone?
Yeah, I went to iPhones because iPhones have a lot better camera than anything the Brio can offer me. But it also allows that I can take another camera or an iPad, and it could be a remote control to take all the automated settings in the iPhone and make them manual. So I can control the ISO, the exposure, the zooming, the color saturation. I can do that from this phone and do it remotely and just get my things around my face and everything keyed in just right. And I couldn't do that with the Brio. I use Macintosh computers. I know some people use Brios and there's no problem zooming, but that software is not available to us Mac users. So I used it through through moving over to the iPhones. And these are old iPhones. They're iPhone 7s, iPhone 8s. I just threw them up and replaced the Brio with those. So, but I also want to show you something else for you. So I don't want to make this so daunting for a lot of you to say, whoa, I don't think I could ever do that. I don't have a lot of room. Let me explain my studio. It's 13 by 12. It used to be my daughter's room. She moved out many, many years ago. I used it for my office for when I was still working up to 2019. I did remotes for 4 years, doing presentations. Prior to that, I did all my presentations in a hotel conference room or dealerships, car dealerships. That's what I supported in their conference room. So when I moved to this room, I figured I can really make this into a studio. I had a photography business, and then I just took all the equipment, and I had tripods all over the place. I had a green screen around me here. It was pretty crowded. And all I really did was one type of show for the children, and that was 2020. And then I figured, let's take it to the next level. And the first thing I had to do was cut all the tripod pieces off the light stands and put them with a threaded 3/4 inch threaded cap. And then I put flanges. Now, this is old office furniture. And I took a screwdriver and just screwed the flanges. So all these lights are attached to furniture. And so I got all this room to walk around and not have to trip over anything. And I don't know if you guys ever been in a hospital, but in a hospital, they have these privacy curtains around the beds. And I've been in the hospital for a couple operations in the past. And I looked up at that ceiling and I seen, wow, there is a perfect channel that I can hook my green screen on and just pull it and be able to pull it back. And that gave me ability to have a 20-foot green screen in a 13-foot room. And it just, and I still got to pull back a little bit to get out the door to leave the room. So that's, I know that's a long-winded answer, but there's a lot here, but it really, really helps me to do what I need to do for the children.
I've got a question for you, Greg. Actually, a couple of comments. Do you have any natural lighting inside that room that you're in?
No. Anybody who knows photography or been around photographers would tell you control the lighting. So the first thing I did, my wife got me some dark light-proof curtains, and I put them up on the 2 windows that over there. You can see a little of that dark brown in that. Let me point to the right direction here, and you can see it right there. There, this right here is one of those curtains, and there's one on the other side. And I keep those shut all day long, even if it's light outside. Mainly because I want to always make sure I got everything working. So I control the light. And that's what photographers will tell you. If you can control the light, there's no surprises to that. Now, of course, if you're photographing outside, you got to use that natural light to your best ability. Most times putting the sun behind the people and then using reflectors to light up the front instead of having them squint their eyes. But anyway, that's a little bit of my history of being a photographer. I kind of understood that.
Yeah, that played well for you. You know, with the natural light, I know that focus with a lot of the Logitech cameras is something that we've all had to deal with since starting to use the Logitechs. You mentioned you used a Brio. Have you used any other Logitech cameras, or have you just used the Brio?
Yeah, the Brio was their top model at that time. They have another model that some people like. I forget what that was called, but they had also 2 older models. I went straight to the Brio because I figured whatever my budget could afford, I went that direction. Now I know all about DSL cameras and cinematic cameras, and they're way out of my budget when you're trying to put together a business between the camera, the mic. I had to buy a computer. I had all the lighting. I had the stands. Lucky me for that. And then the green screen, and then the channeling. That all adds up. And like any business, you got to start out with a business plan and see what you can afford. Now I'm going to show you real quickly here by switching to another camera and give you a 5x5. And I'll make sure you understand that's all this is. From Christmas tree to Santa's coat is 5 foot. From where I'm going to be sitting to the scene on top is really only about 45 inches. So Here you are. You're starting off with a 45-inch space. That's all you have. You don't have room. Your wife don't want you to drill holes in the ceiling, and you just want to start here. So here you are. You're just going to work with the children right from this location. And then this is a perfectly staged. You can reach behind and grab something. You can talk about the nice list and see their names on it. You can talk about your fairy dust spots. You can, they want to know how you get around the world. You can do all these things in a nice staged area. Now, one thing I did here is I'm not sitting on Santa's chair. I'm actually still sitting on my other chair because when I want to move into the chroma key for my special effects, and one of those is to fill out a certificate for the child, because they're on the nice list, and put it into a special envelope and drop it through a wormhole and send it right to their home. Well, I certainly can't do that in a stage. So what I'm going to do is say, let's go and get this off to you. I'm going to send this to you right now. Now, you probably heard all pixie dust. Well, I got some right here, and I'm going to take a little pinch of that pixie dust, and I'm going to take a little pinch of that. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sprinkle it right here. Now, I don't know if you know about wormholes, but they only get pure for a certain amount of time, and you got to get them just right. But we're going to send this through that wormhole and send it off to you right now. So here it comes. Oh, there it goes. Oh, there. Oh, and that will set. Now, sometimes you never know about wormholes. They land behind the tree, the front of the tree, maybe even in the stocking. Why don't we take a couple minutes and maybe you, mom, and dad can go hunt them down, and I'll wait here. So that's something I do for the children, so I can actually send it to them, and they go and find it, and they find that to be very, very special.
Very good. You had mentioned about children asking about the North Pole. Gosh, I can't imagine the questions you get about yours. Real quick, I know there's a couple other quick things we want to cover. When you talk about green screen or chroma key and excuse me, and OBS, I know a lot of us worked with that technology this last year, not to the extent that you have done because you have really put a lot into it. But can you kind of explain that in layman's terms for those folks who don't know a whole lot about that technology?
Yeah. Let me. Best way to do that would be let me just give you a couple of slides I put together, and I can maybe show you this way. So let me just pop this one up real quick. And this is what I call my journey. And here's how I figured all these things out. First, I seen OBS in April 2020 Ed Taylor had 3 or 4 Santas on. And this gentleman was sitting in a log cabin. Outside the window was a snow falling down. And man, we were all impressed. And we learned what OBS stood for, online broadcast software. And it was used for broadcasting, streaming, and different things they were doing. and it could work on a Linux, a Mac, or a PC, Microsoft PC. So that's the first thing I had to download. First thing I found, though, that my computer can't handle it. So there goes my first investment. The OBS is free, but the computer, well, I dropped about $1,200 on that computer. It was an older computer, but it was considered one of the best Macs in his day and age. And I figured I wanted the best to be able to manage all this. So I did that. And then I went to YouTube. YouTube. Let me tell you, it's the best friend out there. Because even if you're not understanding exactly what the person is trying to tell you, you can pause it and go back. Or you can just go to another one, maybe that might explain it the way you might be able to understand it. So there you go. So that's it. And then there's this gentleman out there has this, he has this, one of his YouTubes was the ultimate small room green screen. And that guy I thought was one of the best people to teach me lighting and presentation and how to do 3 1/4 have your eyes just not on the top of the screen, like almost like a checkerboard, and have it right around here and then down, not too low, and little things like that to make for a better composition in front of the children. Back to YouTube, and then learning OBS in 300 hours. No, 30 minutes, they said. Well, it turned into multiple hours, but so what? It was fun. You were learning new things around that. And then I ran into a company that I used for my Halloween display. I'm a big children-friendly Halloween display outside my house. I only get about 8 children, but I got it down up to about 30 because what I do out there. And Atmos FX was the partner. So I bought a license, not just buying it off the web, their $30 package. I bought a professional license so I can use it in my shows. And then somebody told me along the way where some of this animation was made through a product called Blender, blender.org, another free software, but another software that really is daunting. And I wanted to make my own 3D scenes. Well, guess what? My computer did not handle that. So just like Pixar, when they were making Toy Story, the people that were running the computers were saying, "Time out here, John. This thing is taking over. What you want these toys to do through this animation, the technology ain't there yet. So we got to play catch up." Well, I went out and bought the new Mac M1. I think it's the best $695 investment, because that chip is second to none. And that really allowed me to move to my next slide. So let me talk about the rest of the journey. Of course, I had to learn Zoom. Back to YouTube, anything I had questions around Zoom, because Zoom doesn't give you a lot of help for your $14.95 a month. Apple support. One thing about Apple, they're great support. They supported my 2013 Mac, even though it was a 2013 Mac, never charged me. And then they obviously supported my new Mac. And then there's a little small slide of a picture of my home screen of my iPhone visiting my website. So you can see that's what the people will see when they go to SantaKringleLLC.com, or just type in Santa space Kringle with a K, and I'm 1 and 2 on Google. Now that was a whole thing I had to figure out. SEO, search engine optimization. So that was something. And then Dropbox was another one of my partners where I would finish the video, set it up on Dropbox, and then the customer would get a link, and then they can download it in their convenience, and they can play it on their phone, their iPad, their TV, whatever they want to do with it. It's theirs. And then I started learning about Blender to try to phase out Atmos, because I wanted to make my stuff unique. Back to YouTube, back to my Mac, and make sure everything was working properly. So that was pretty daunting journey along the way. So I'll take a pause if there's any questions. I know that was a lot.
Yes, it was. Real quick, just a guesstimate, and I know most of us cannot go out and put together anything comparable to what you put together on a budget. So just a guesstimate. What do you think you got involved dollar-wise in your setup as it sits today?
Yeah, I can give you that pretty close to accurate. I got 7 lights at $69 each. They're LED lights, so I got 7 of those. So, and then I got 2 monitors. They're both around $79, $89. I got a Mac, $695 for the Mac, and I got a printer that I use for my certificates, and that prints envelopes. It's a 2-drawer printer, so that was about $129. Lexmark is the best printer I found. I got 2 HP printers over there. They're nothing like the Lexmark, but they're my backups. And then I have probably about $79 in the green screen, about $300 in the channel for the hospital channel, and then I have things I picked up along the time of the cameras I had, which were iPhones. Oh, the Elgatos. I think they were probably 189 times 2 or 199 times 2 of those. I believe in backups. And I bought the mic used from a guy locally here for about $79. I didn't run that through a calculator, but when you guys watch the recording, you can have a calculator in front of you and get an idea. But keep in mind, guys, you can start with a low budget, and all you have to do 5x5 with a simple couple things that you might have laying around the house, and have Santa always likes his hot chocolate, whatever, and have things that you can sit there and get your props out that you use for storytelling. And this I learned from Mr. Stephen Gillum. Oh, you ever heard of Samuel Clemens? Oh boy, well, he's almost 200 years ago. He caught me dropping off gifts. Now, he thinks he was the first person to catch me. No, but he was the first person to write about it. And this he left a year later on his mantle, that letter. And I really was very appreciative that he left me there. That. So little things like that you can use for your stories.
Very good. So I've dominated all the questions for the last 15, 20 minutes. Barry, what you got? I'm sorry.
Hey, I just had a question. You mentioned ghosting a while ago. Have you found a difference between, I noticed you got a green screen back there. I know some guys use a blue screen. Is there any difference between the color, or is the ghosting primarily from lighting or computer speed?
It really is. You'll get a green ghost with me. You'll get a blue ghost with the blue. And then I wouldn't be able to use this globe here because it's blue. I would have a problem with that in this background. And the stage, I don't have a problem whatsoever. That's my feelings on it. Now, some people might feel that the blue is a little more forgiving. But I'm telling you, the most important thing I wear is red, right? And that is sometimes one of the toughest ones to work with. Let Santa go get his coat on here. But before we do that, let's go back to the office.
It's amazing, Greg, how much depth you look like you have when you're in that scene.
Yeah, and it's really not that much. And some of the rules that you need for doing green screen or blue screen is be as far away from the background as possible. And that is not possible when you're only working with a 12 by 13 room. So there might be a little greenish around here. And this is a very important color, and especially if I put on Santa's hat. But it's important because people look at Santa this way. So when I come in the room or I go on the tour, I have to look a little bit like Santa, obviously. When I come in, I take it off and I can just have my vest on. Now, last year, I just wore nothing but this. Sorry, I got a hook here in this little. But this is what I wore because I felt Santa's in his workshop. He should be just wearing an apron.
Exactly.
Maybe put a little paint on here. Have a paintbrush in there. Have different tools that he would be using. And that's what I used last year. This year, I added the tour of the North Pole.
Very nice. So do we have any questions from anyone in the audience at this point before we move on? I know it takes you a moment to type those in. If you have any, go ahead and start getting those typed in for us. Barry, did you have anything to follow up with?
No, that was great. That was the information I was looking for.
Very good, very good. So again, anyone have any questions, go ahead and pop them in now. And Greg, go ahead.
Hey guys, this is my workshop, and this is my elf. And
Welcome.
Welcome guys. I'm happy I came over here, and you wanted this bottle of paint, so I'm just going to put it right here. Now don't let that fall. I mean, it's a nice bottle. That's what you wanted. So now it took me a little long because I've been hanging out with Barry and Bob here. But anyway, yep, that's for you. Yeah. And you're doing a great job on these toys. Fantastic. All right. Well, I gotta get back. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, guys.
Super cool.
Come back into the scene, but see how I interacted with the green screen with that little bottle? That makes it real for the people that are watching it.
Yes, it does. Can't get them more real than that.
Yeah. So all I did there, let me go back to behind the scenes and give you an idea how that was done. So let me switch real quick here. Now, if you notice way off to the way part of that green screen, let me get out of the way here, really out of the way. And you'll see I'll actually stand up. And all it is an empty can, and a magnet is on the other side, and this is stuck to that magnet. So when I put something on it, it sits there. And then you got to line it up with the workbench. But you notice, I don't know, maybe you didn't notice, when Santa was done and said goodbye to the guys and told me he had to go back to the office, he grabbed it and just walked away with it because it would show up in all the other scenes.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And that brings me to another point, guys. There's not a day goes by that I don't practice. Practice. I don't consider it work. It's a lot of fun. And I try new ideas. But I'm always in his office. And I'm lucky to have a studio that can stay up all year round. If you're one of those Santas that you're sharing that room with your wife or different other things going on, you have a confined area, then obviously you can't do that. But I find from January on, so when November 20th, where I start my season virtually, and I can do up to 450 of these, working from 9 to 8 every night up to December 24th. I only do 6 on December 24th. I charge a lot more money on the 24th, not because I want the money, because I don't want anybody to book me on the 24th. I want them to book the other days. But if they really want the 24th, they'll pay for it in a sense. But it's really designed to funnel them into other dates, to be honest with you. But when I make these practice sessions of the North Pole Tour, I'm talking as if I'm talking to children. But I understand I'm doing more of a Fred Rogers approach, and I'm talking to the camera. So I offer these to Ronald McDonald's house, to Mario Lemieux's foundation. It's called Austin's Playhouse, that he's put together when his child was little and got sick. And why not let them have those instead of throwing them into the digital garbage can and deleting them? So I figured, why not send them out? And then, of course, they'll see my name out there, and they can, maybe a parent might say they want maybe something more personal. And, of course, I might get the business out of it.
Very true. And it helps to have a wife that's understanding. And I know Deb probably wonders what you're doing in there half the time.
Oh, yeah. She likes it because we know 45-year marriage, and we learn to have our own spaces. And she knows that right now she goes to bed early since she had COVID like you did, Barry. And so 7 o'clock now, she's super tired. So and she teaches. And so she still has to, manage all those students and that type of stuff. And she's always trying to catch up with the rest. And it's very daunting for her and all the other hospital workers and anybody who has to, work those hours and deal with a lot of the crowds and masks all the time. So it's a little challenging for her, but she knows this is in my heart, and I needed something to keep busy. And This, to me, is what I really love doing.
Yeah, Santa Mick Lowry has a question for you there on the screen if you'd like to address it.
Yeah, the still backgrounds. See, I went with let me go back to it so I can give you a visual as you asked that question. This is somewhat of a stock photo, my original one. I got it off of Etsy, bought it, and dealt with this artist and got no problem with the copyright. And then I still ran it through my lawyer. I'm an incorporated business, so I have a lawyer. So I ran through him. He suggested I make at least 30% changes to it. So I added the TV, which was one of the most important things I did. Got to remember we're pointing on there. And that allows me to put a logo, and that allows me to put a lot of other things. And then I open up the back window back here. That's where I used to use the Atmos. Atmos, if somebody would say, oh, I see you got your tree up. And then I wanted to say, we got to get our tree up. Let me get Zelda out here, and let me get her out here with the rest of the crew, and let's get the tree up. Hi, Zelda. Now, you got to remember to talk to the background if you're going to talk to Zelda. But anyway, I changed that. I got rid of the hula hoop around the bag, Santa's bag. I added some new toys. I added a Naughty Nice book. I added my reindeer belt in the back. I added all that into that scene. Let me close down them decorating the tree, so that's a little noisy. That's on a timer, so hold on 1 second. So let me just turn that off. But anyway, that finishes up. I don't use that this year because the license ends October, and I'm not going to renew it for November. But back to your question, yes, make sure you got licenses on all your scenes. So I felt the way to solve that was for me to build my own scenes. And I did that. And maybe after the break, I can show you a little bit of how that was done. Not doing them for you, but giving you an idea what that software looks like.
That'd be a great idea. So, okay, Greg, so at this point, let's take a short breather right here because, of course, tonight on the Tuesday Night Live show, like every week, we take a short break for a special product announcement. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Stop the show. That can only mean one thing. It's time for the Showstopper Special here on Tuesday Night Live. And for this week's StuffForSanta.com Showstopper Special, we're going to go back out to that head clown at large and in charge, Spangle the Clown. Hey, Spangle.
I don't know if I'm the head clown in charge. I think she's right over here. Hey, anyway, man, is my head going to blow up, man? There's so much stuff to hear. So much stuff. Man, I'm like a little child watching this stuff, man. That's great, Greg. Hey, anyways, the showstopper this week, it's time for giveaways. Santa needs his giveaways. People are going to start thinking about Christmas. You're going to be in Walmart. You're going to be out to the restaurants. You're going to be here and you're going to be there. And people are going to see you and think, wow, is that Santa Claus? So you need to have them giveaways and have them ready. We're going back to the red and green coins. They are trimmed in gold color. These are really cool. There's 100 of them in a package. They're all nice lists, no bad lists, nothing like it. Go on our website, StuffForSanta.com, StuffForSanta.com, and order 5 of these. And we're going to give you 25 packs of these. These go for $2 a piece, but we're going to give you 25 packs. But wait, it's giveaway time. So what we're going to do, if you order today, we're going to give you another 25 packs. So you order 5 rolls of these on our website, StuffForSanta.com. We're going to give you 25 of these. Today, we're going to give you another 25, so 50 of these. You're getting more than we're charging. Anyways, visit us at StuffForSanta.com. It's good to see Bob back in the saddle again. We missed him. Anyways, visit StuffForSanta.com. Back to the show.
Gosh, Michael, before you go, I thought you was going to do a cat in the hat deal. You know, it's the Santa scene here, Santa scene there, Santa scene everywhere.
Right.
Thank you so much.
There's a good song
always,
on Santa's Everywhere. That's really a cool song. You should listen to it.
Oh,
Anyway, thanks. StuffForSanta.com.
Thank you, you guys. Daisy Mae Spangler, thanks for everything you do for us and for the community.
We are excited about the Halloween show.
That's going to be a good one. We've got quite a few people starting to submit their entries, and we're getting more stoked every day.
Yeah, you're going to think I'm going to be there. You're going to think it's going to be Daisy Mae. We're actually switching identities. So it'll be Daisy Mae looking like this.
That ought to be fun. Hey, we do know that she played Santa Daisy Mae one time, so look out. She's after your job.
Hey, she's a good-looking Santa. She's a good-looking Mrs. Claus. She's a good-looking clown.
And
I got lucky.
There you go. Very good. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
You are watching the Tuesday Night Live show with Bob Berry and Angela. Sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need to support your Santa and Mrs. Claus business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, it doesn't exist. So contact Spangle at StuffForSanta.com today. Now back to the show.
And I said this, I think last week or the week before, if Spangle ain't got it, it's because Daisy Mae won't let him get it. It's always great to have Spangle and Daisy Mae on the show. All right, Greg, well, hope you caught yourself a breather there. We are excited to get started back. Let's go ahead and finish up where you was at. You was going to show us something before we get into the next round of questions.
Yeah, I was going to show you a couple things, but first I'll show you a little bit of what I did last year in my show, so you can get an idea of the path I took. So here I am doing my 2020 show. I had a desk in front of me with some props there. I had the nice list behind me, the big feather, and then I had the Atmos do their, the elf comes out, and decorates the tree. And this is what I did last year. But most important, watch the children. And the whole idea of this animation of having Zelda there and the crew come out is look at their expressions on the children's face. That's it. And of course, I'm getting right in there and there's music playing and I just have the sound off on this one. But you can see they're going along right along with it. And if it wasn't for those children, that's what keeps me going. But I need to be able to, like Randy said last week, he said to entertain them. So I needed this animation and I needed to have a little bit more control over it. And so this is what I needed to do. And so this was kind of the things that I wanted to be able to do that. And then be able to also be able to give a certificate, and has seen this young lady was filmed by her mother. She got the certificate and she was so excited that she got it from Santa and it had my seal on it. And that kind of expression is why I took the blender.org software, downloaded it free, opened it up and looked at this square and said, oh my Lord. And I hate saying the poor Jesus name in vain, but I was like, where the heck do I start? So I went on the web and I found a Blender expert, and I didn't want him to do it for me. I wanted him to guide me through this. So I went and found those type of people that would do that. And I wore that poor guy out. I don't know if you'll ever do that again, but I used him to build this. And along the way, when I was building this, it allowed me to really make it, be able to manage it for me. So this is my stables that I was building before I put the reindeers in it. And then now these scenes are mine. They're three-dimensional. What that means is you take not these cameras that we've been talking about, a virtual camera, and you move it to the left, you move it to the right, you move it high, you move it low, and the whole scene changes. And you didn't have to rebuild the scene. It's just a different angle with the camera. So I use this one setup to be the one group of reindeer, and the other group, I just moved the camera. And then I moved it to another position to have all 9 of the reindeer together. So that to me became very practical to be able to build that. So that was the reasoning I did it, was the children. So this is the reason we all do it, is these expression on their faces when you go through these setups. And they didn't see my new tour. They just seen the Atmos stuff last year. And this is what was very powerful for them to look at that and see their expressions. The older one always seems to react a little bit quicker than the younger. The younger one plays a little more catch up, but then wants to wave to me, and then dad's trying to get in. So anyway, that's the whole idea of that, is be able to take that journey and be able to deliver it to those people. So let me go back real quickly, and I just want to quickly go back to here, and probably this is probably where we'll wrap up things from this angle. But like I said, this is what I try to do, is to make it special for the children and bring in these little scenes. Keep in mind, it's all about the children. So for instance, if the children don't want to tour, they want to talk to me, they want to see me, but they still have questions about the reindeer. Well, Santa has closed circuit TV. There's my reindeer. There they are. Oh, there's the other four. Oh, I know who you want to see, that special reindeer. There you go. So with closed circuit TV, oh, you want to see the elves in the workshop. So you can click on that and actually bring up scenes of the workshop as if it's closed circuit TV, that they can see that. And you can still stay focused with the children. It's all about the children.
I got to say that the intensity in those children's eyes and the smiles and looks on their faces is worth everything. If that don't melt your heart, your heart ain't beating, man. You aren't human.
That's right.
And I watch every show I did last year over and over again so I can learn from it. And maybe I talked too much in front of them, didn't give them a chance to talk. All the things I can just polish my wife hates the word performance. Polish the visit better. She likes the word visit.
Well, you are a performer, as many of us try to be, but you're a step ahead when it comes to the OBS green screen and the virtual studio. Let's change gears a little bit right here. Let's kind of talk about you a little bit. Many of us start off as TBSs. I did. I know that you did in your case. And by the way, your beard is looking phenomenal, man. I'm loving what you got going on there. What was your decision to go RBS?
Oh boy, it was just being practical. When you do these shows, I got to get 3 meals in me just to keep my blood sugar intact. So I want to be able to eat. I couldn't do that really well with the designer beard. I bought one from Heather down, and she designed and measured it to my face. I bought one from Maggie. They were great beards, but they just made me feel self-conscious in this area right here, not only for eating, but also if it would come apart a little bit. So I figured I can do this. And I knew my hair would be white. I had a beard up to 50 years old when I was a photographer, taking on these young brides, and I looked too baby faced. I grew like a Van Dyke style beard and look a little older. And the idea at 50 was to shave it off and look a little younger. But I knew it was getting white. So I was very lucky that it would come in all white. And my hair was always a little blonde, but it comes across on the lights as white. So it just made more sense for me to be real bearded.
Well, Greg, you mentioned your virtual visits. How long does your virtual visits last, and what does that visit include? And, like you said, the children receives a personalized gift and the parents receive something too. Can you give us some details on what that includes?
Sure. Well, when you did all the practicing, before I put a time on my website, and I was doing last year's were 15 minutes. And then I attended a class. Steve Gillum had a class on storytelling. And I'm telling you, I didn't really come there for storytelling. I come to see how he worked with Debbie. Debbie was his producer in the same room. And he's known for his smart Santa technology with the wiring himself to Debbie and talking to each other, keeping everybody on the same page. Well, anyway, but after a while, I realized how important the story is. Just this first line. once upon a time, and you're already hooked no matter what age you are. We watch all these stories. It doesn't matter what movie they are, there's a story. So I figured I needed to incorporate a story. And I took his White Feather story and his Night Before Christmas rendition, and I took those because I could do those in a very short amount of time. All right. Then I put it all to practice with the tour. Now, all those scenes I go through are no more than a minute and 5 or 10 seconds each. Because remember, as we learn through our Santa training, that children only can stay focused for about a minute. So I stay in that, and I'm talking to the children all through that, through the use of a teleprompter. And so I'm keeping them engaged with their first, Dad, Dallas, you're getting so big. What do you think about the Hall of Letters? Or Avery, wow, what do you think about this? The idea, but they're only a minute. Well, when I practice, I couldn't do it for less than 28 to 30 minutes. So that became my show. I changed it onto the website, 28 to 30 minutes, and I do that. And I do one every 45 minutes. So I have a 15-minute break to make sure I can deliver to them via a recording and Dropbox and to the email to them. So with that is what that show consists of. Now, you said about, I use the White Feather story, so I have to make sure I send the parents only in that. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Soon I get a booking, and I got a bunch of bookings so far. Soon I get a booking, I put it in this file, which is 1 to 31. And then these are all bookings in here. And these are the certificates that I'm going to show on the video camera. The other certificate and the White Feather and a little thank you card for the cookie dish and a note to explain to the parents what to do with that White Feather and that cookie card for the dish all got mailed out right away. And I'll follow up with an email to make sure they still have it, or if for any reason they did not get it, I will not put their envelope through the wormhole. I just won't do that. I'll do it another way. I'll just skip that part. But this is the things that they get, and I send that off to them right away. And then I also have an example. Let me grab one real quick. These are some mixed prints, but this is a sample of the, you don't see that real well. Sorry about that. Oh, we got it. There, that goes on the cookie dish. This is just misprint ones, not the ones I actually send. But anyway, so that's what the parents get, and they get that all in a, oh, there's the right one right here. Here's the right one. This is the one I sent. And they get it in an envelope like this, just with a regular label on it. I don't want to make it too much Santa. I invested in 600 of these envelopes, so I got to go through these before I go back to a vanilla type envelope. But that's what they get in the mail when I send it to them. So I give them that. And of course, they get a White Feather. And then that White Feather comes with a story. And the TV helps me deliver that story with that White Feather. So that's what I give, and it's about 28 to 30 minutes.
Fantastic. In your 30 years of trying the big guy, we know that you're now a virtual visit Santa. But before you did all kinds of gigs as a professional Santa. Can you tell us about all the different levels of visits and gigs that you performed in the last 30 years?
Sure. Let me just really quickly give you an example of that. Here we are. Let me turn off this. Okay, so I was doing home visits off in the upper left-hand corner with 4, 5, 6 children, and this was what family invited me to the home, and I was not only passing out gifts, giving them a little bit of conversation, and I was also taking pictures, obviously, and then I moved over and I would do some promos for some craft shows, and one thing I learned, I think Ed Taylor, one of them mentioned, is do a little video for them, help them promote their show. So I would do those type of things. Then the elf with me, with my designer beard there, we were doing Toys for Tots. Right down straight below her is me standing next to, I don't know if you recognize that young lady, that's Gabby Barrett. She was on American Idol. She came in second. but she was at that. She was just starting her career, and we took a picture in front of Toys for Tots. Upper right-hand corner is me with a little child doing a home visit. How about this one? This lady made this foam for my cup, and I decided to stop to pick it up. And I was dressed. I was coming back from a bottom left-hand corner, way down there. It was an elderly home where they had a big event. So I took a picture with this very young child, and I told the parents, using my photography skills, let me work with the child and you just take some pictures. And so we got this very unique look that they were very happy with. Down below that one, I still do a lot of elderly homes. My dad ended his life there. He was dementia, and he just was really having some issues living by himself. So I would go down there and I would bring cakes for the ladies because, they didn't need gifts as much as cakes. They love cakes. And there were 38 women to 2 gentlemen. The ratio I love. I got a seat for that place when I get old. But anyway, they like cakes. And then I did some businesses, that flower company. I did some promo work for them. And then off to the left, I did Children's Hospital. Again, very near and dear to my heart. So that's just some quick pictures of what I did prior to being 100% Zoom.
We've covered a lot so far, and your overall Santa journey that you told us about, but is there anything else that you want to cover that we haven't talked about so far?
Well, I always was told as a presenter is as much as your bottom part of your body can handle sitting, as much as your top part can handle brain-wise. And this was a lot. And I just want to make sure that people realize that it's a journey. It's your journey. Don't take my journey, take your own journey. And then just go down that path. YouTube is your friend. I don't use my adult children because I want to keep that relationship as solid as it is now. And they got their own lives. And I have to remember when I was 40 and 38, what was I doing? And I probably didn't have time to spend with my dad building things on the web and whatever. So just make it your own.
Great advice. Okay, so we know that you have a treat for us. Can you show us your first sighting of Santa way back in 1958?
Sure. So let me just put that on here. I'm the little one. This is my daddy. Came through a window, and his sister, my aunt, made his outfit, took rabbit fur-lined gloves and tore them apart and made his fur. And he had, remember the old tinsel trees? And there I'm the little one. There's my brother Vince, a little bit bigger, and my brother Larry. My mom dressed up like somebody from Mad Men. I don't know why she was wearing a dress. They would put us to bed at 12 o'clock and wake us up. And no sound is in this. It's just my dad. He would come, drop off some gifts, say goodbye. He had cotton that was glued to his face. He took a lot of pride in what he did, and climbing out that 6-foot drop window. And then it was amazing to me, and my brother having the drum, and I'm just amazed. And they would put us back to bed for church. That was a little cruel. But anyway, we never forgot. And I was only 4 years old. This was 3.5, 4 years old. My birthday's in November. And so, and that was just amazing what my dad did. So just to give you a little bit more on this, let me go back to get me back to the main one, and let me show you 1955, he built this. His sister built it. And it's near and dear to my heart. It's his original outfit and its original hat. Now, he came right out of World War II, so he made the arms and the waist of this pants for a 32-inch waist. Not too Santa-like for at least me, but it's something that I will never, never, never give up. And this is just so important to me, what he did. And he always taught me to do the best you can do. He took a 1/8-inch piece of brass and carved a buckle out of that brass, and I only use that. There's a lot of fabulous buckles that people make and sell, Billy Brown, Spangle, and so many more. But I always wanted to keep that brass buckle on my belt, and that was very, very special to me.
Yeah,
wow, what a treasure.
Yep. And that's why it started for me. I was young, but I was hooked. And then as I got into 1990, I started doing all type of people's homes. And that was always my favorite. Schools, preschools, and so on, and hospitals and elderly home. I always have a soft spot for them. I stopped doing that the last 2 years because of COVID, but they have been asking to see me get my cakes, and I might pick it up this year, at least deliver the cakes. I might not go down there in person. But
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying my mom taught me how to make cakes, and I like making cakes.
Oh, yeah. Well, everybody loves cake. I was going to say, when you go into a museum where they have things like Elvis's costumes, that sort of thing, they put them in the plexiglass cases.
Yeah.
Man, you need to get a case for that suit and preserve that thing. That is priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't put it in any kind of plastic or anything. And all this, my staff, I had a gentleman make this staff for me. And this thing is another one of my near and dear things in my heart. And then his nose lights up. And this is something that would just pass on to my children. When I made my custom suit, I made a pair of pants for my son. He's 6'3". I'm only 5'9". My wife says, yeah, you're about 5'7", but I saved her feet. She never could wear heels. But anyway, but you get the idea. I don't know if he'll ever take it on, but his heart's there. It's up to him if he wants to, but all goes down to him.
Yeah, my son portrayed for about 3 years, but he's got a job now where he can't get off. So, but that's still something he plans on doing someday when he gets closer to retirement. Barry, over to you for the next question.
All right, Greg, tell us some of your most impressive and relevant achievements.
Well, I guess building the 3D software and learning that, which tells me if I can dream it, I can build it. So that every year I'll watch the latest movies, get little bits and pieces from them, and build a world for or a visit for them that will be very unique and make it special. So that's probably one of my best achievements, and be able to figure all this out without bothering a lot of my family, but except for them tell me about their demographics, that they think I'm hitting the right mark. Learning SEO. I'm on the third page of Google, which is took me a lot to get there. On just typing in virtual Santa. So that was one, but that's all around my business. There's no better achievement than my two children, my lovely wife, building a life together, knowing both extended part our families, my family who I'm still close to, my wife's family who I'm close to, and both my children have just been great around grandparents and just been a joy to have them in my life. My daughter only lives right across the street. My son's 10 minutes away, and every vacation they want to go on vacation with us. So those kind of things is my greatest achievement.
Excellent. Well, Greg, you've shared so much great information with us tonight and really given us a lot to think on. But before you go, will you do us all the honor in doing our Santa's point of view for this week?
Sure. I thought about this, and really my simplest rule and how I work is from the customer's experience backwards. I don't know about you guys. You pick up the phone, you call your credit card company, they ask you to put the information. When they get you on the phone, they ask you the same thing over again. You feel like, wow, this is terrible, this experience. So when I started my business, I looked in the nearest mirror and I realized I got to practice what I preach to all these people all these years. So I just have one simple rule: what's best for the customer, and work backwards. So that's one of my point of views. And then make your offering the most excellent it can be, and make that your brand. So basically make excellence your brand. Now, I kind of stole that from a young lady named Oprah Winfrey, but I think that is good information. And basically, so make excellence your brand and build that. And again, build upon your skills, and there's no finish line. Just run your best race all the time, but there's no finish line. It keeps getting moved beyond, and you got to run a little bit more. Something else gets a curve through you. There might be something that in business that changes. You got to learn how to adapt. So there's no finish line. Just make yourself proud of the race you're running. And I'm also going to end here with this, because this is I did not do this completely on my own. So I want to bring what I feel these people, starting from the left, these people that helped me through my journey. Now, there's been many more, but I just want to do a shout out to Mr. Steve Gillum and his wife, Debbie. So basically, Steve and Debbie helped me along my journey and really teaching me the art of telling stories and what Debbie did behind the scenes and how she technically supported Steve. That to me was well worth it to attend class 1 and class 2. Next over to the right is Ron McLam. Now, Ron, his help was for technical support, or always being there when I had some crazy idea I wanted to throw by him. And he can just see that and give me some ideas. The next guy in the top center, Fred Rogers. He's deceased now, but he showed me how important it is to make every child feel special and love, and make them the most important thing in that moment you're spending time with them. And then off to the right, top right, is Santa Melissa. Now, her best friend is right with her, called Jingles. And for why her, well, she inspires me. She has a very unique portrayal of Santa Claus in a male-dominated Santa world. And she took what's her strength. Jingle can become Mrs. Claus. Jingle can be her elf. She brings a very different atmosphere as a female Santa, and she can see things with children and always have that, take it up a notch for them, where sometimes we might not have that, and she just naturally has that. Down to the left-hand corner is Courtney Lofton. I think he's your next speaker, for being a master of turning Santa's world into reality, really an inspiration to all. And what he does with the Red Sleigh Santa Foundation is another inspiration. And look at his place. It's a natural toy room that he's designed, and he's just Santa all the time. Trish is pounding away on my belt. She's my leather artist. She started off making pirate stuff, but when I told her my idea of putting each one of my reindeer on the belt, her eyes lit up, and that's when I knew this was my artist. And then the last guy off to the right is a person named Igor Carver. He's a master wood carver. He took my bronze bust of a reindeer, and I drilled it out to put the nose for Rudolph. And he knew by just communicating me, and we used an interpreter for a while because he's from Ukraine, but he was making skulls and dragons. But boy, his artistic ability was there, and he lit up when I gave him this idea. He designed it, and he won't make another one exactly like this because those artists don't do that. But he has now made at least 10 other ones for other Santas, the different design. And I'm happy that Igor is out there to help support other Santas. There were just, basically 8. There's so many more. I can't begin to name them all. But these are people that are extremely helped me along the way and really are close to my heart.
Yeah, Greg, that's what we love about the Santa, Mrs. Claus, Red Suit community. We've all had help. We've all had those mentors, people who have been influential in helping mold who we become as Santa. I got to tell you, man, brother, thank you so much. I know some guys and some ladies' brains are probably about to explode with all the information. But, if that doesn't get your heart beating and get you excited about what the possibilities are, as a OBS virtual green screen style visit. Santa, nothing will. I'll tell you, man, you're one of the greatest. We love you. Thank you so much. It's been fun as well as educational. Barry?
Oh, thank you.
And once again, on behalf of my co-host Bob and Elf Angela, thank you, Greg. And we're planning a season-ending show on October the 26th. We're bringing back the guests from this year for a short segment to wish y'all a Merry Christmas. We'd love to have you back for a quick drop-in and the Halloween show also.
He had his pumpkins going in the back there, Barry.
Yeah, I saw Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, gentlemen, I really enjoyed it. I hope your guests enjoyed it. I can't tell you how much I like what you guys do. You keep the Santa community feeding us with new ideas through these speakers, and your passion between you, Angela, and Barry, and Bob. I'm just really happy to be part of this.
Well, thank you so much. And, you were speaking about your daughter living just across the way and your son 10 minutes away. I'm fortunate enough, my daughter, granddaughter, and son-in-law live with me. I do lean on Angela a lot for technology because, hey, I'm old school. Sometimes I have a hard time learning things, but I got to tell you, she's always so wonderful, and we want to thank her so much for what she does for the Tuesday Night Live show.
Absolutely. Hey, everyone, share and invite others to our weekly Tuesday Night Live broadcast, as well as invite them to our 2 Facebook groups. You can find us at Santa and the Business of Being Santa and Sat Bob's Live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Reach up there, give us a like, because every time you do, it helps others see our broadcast. Bob?
That's correct. And, of course, as always, you can go back and watch the replay of this show and all the previous episodes from the very beginning on Santa and the Business Being Santa Facebook group and Sat Bob's Live. Greg, once again, brother, thank you so much. Gosh, one of our most fondest guests. You have shown us a lot more than we normally get for our money. I know the show's a little longer tonight. We want to thank our audience for sticking with us, staying in there late. For Greg, he's on the East Coast, so it's even later for him. Me and Barry's in Central Time. So until next week, though, remember, join us for our next Tuesday Night Live show each week, 7 p.m. Central. Same clause time, same clause channel. Thank you again, Greg. Thank you, Barry. Thank you,
Spirit high.
Thank you to our audience.
Spirit high.
Very good. And we want to God bless everyone. And until next week, thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Remember, we do this because we care. Good night.
Good night. Thanks, Greg.
Good night.
Bye.